Yo, what's the deal? What is the deal? Welcome to In Your League. Welcome to In Your League. I'm your host, Cheddar Chaz. Yes, indeed, man. We're about to go over this Orlando Magic game. I got a special guest coming in. I'm going to get started in a few. Going to look and see what's happening here on Amazon Prime. Shout out to Amazon Prime. Hopefully, we don't have any technical difficulties tonight, but that remains to be seen. Even the big boys make mistakes, so we're going to see what happens with that. Shout out to my dog, Michael Morgan, in the building early with the two-piece. Good to see you, bro. Look, I've been gone a couple of days. The Pelicans ain't playing no more, so it feel like damn, I ain't got nothing to do right now. But like I said, we're gonna get into some of this postseason. The reason why this was actually Chris's idea. The reason why I want to talk about the Orlando Magic because I guess Joe Dumars came out and denied some of it, but the Pelicans were said to have interest in Jamal Mosley. This is a team that they've had some internal conflicts. People talking about Paolo crazy, calling Paolo a bust. Are you out of your mind? Paolo Banchero is still one of the best players in the game. I'm really looking forward to see what he does tonight. Lee, what's happening with your homie? T5 the Great in the building. What's happening with y'all, man? Hope y'all doing well. They got Desmond Bane. A lot of people thought them adding Desmond Bane would propel them immediately. And it's like, you don't want to be too what's the word? Looking for too much instant gratification. Still is a young team, dealt with a lot of injuries. Franz, Mo, Suggs, Banchero. It's tough. Nando, what's happening with your homie? Say I sent you a DM, Chad. Check it out. Okay, I got you. I'm gonna check it out. For sure, bro. Appreciate your support also. And man, shout out to y'all, man. Again, I appreciate all y'all for supporting me throughout this season. So right now, you got the Orlando Magic trailing by 1 to the 76ers. Now it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with the Magic versus what happens with the 76ers. Because the 76ers don't have a ton of avenues to improve. Skip Bayless came out today and he said, Skip Bayless is an OG. Skip Bayless is a legend. He came out and said that Joel Embiid had been cleared and he's just refusing to play. I don't know if that's true or not, but he's saying Joel Embiid has been cleared and he's just refusing to play. If so, that's crazy. And we may see back-to-back games where like the star center, I guess it depends on how you view Bam. I guess Bam's a power forward, but let's say star big, where the star big misses the play-in game due to injury. But of course, the Sixers got Maxey, they got Edgecombe. Depending on what they do with Grimes, they got Quentin Grimes. They got a lot of young talent to build upon. And this is going to be a big first test for Edgecombe. Con Knipple didn't do well in his first postseason test. So we're going to see how Edgecombe does. Oh, that would have been a nice play right there on the back up. Kiara, what's happening with you, Kiara? How you doing? My boy, Michael Morgan say, does Borrego really have a chance at the coaching job? I think they're going to, I think there's two ways to view that, Mike. I think you got to view it like this. Firstly, until you get a new partner or a new person, you gotta show some respect to the person that's still in the building. Also, if you were a coach that was interested in potentially in joining the Pelicans, you're gonna look and see how they treated the last coach. Did they kick the last coach in the ass? Did they disrespect the last coach on the way out? You're gonna look and see how they do these things. Also, there's the agency relationships. Borrego, his agency has done a lot of heavy lifting for him over the past couple of off seasons, getting them interviews, getting them in a room with certain teams. And if you're an executive, whether you really want to interview him or not, you're going to at least put forth the illusion that you want to interview him. At least put forth the illusion that he has a fair shake. Otherwise, why'd you make him the interim? You could have just fired everybody and just hired, who you wanted. And shout out to Paperboy. That was something that Mike Scotto put out earlier as well, that the Pelicans could be posturing to potentially make him an assistant again. Now, if they were to make him an assistant again, that makes me believe that they could potentially hire a first-time head coach, because now you would have an assistant head coach with years of head coach experience, and you might be more willing to take a chance on a guy like Sam Cassell, who I hope they really are considering. A guy like Paolo. I'm sorry, I say Paolo Banchero. I'm laughing at Stickman Joint. You say Paolo Z. Sam Cassell, Stackhouse, Rondo, guys who could be first-time head coaches, and you got a head coach already in the building. Personally, I want the whole building cleared out. Oh, we got a little chippiness. Kelly Oubre he got the Kelly Oubre look crazy, motherfucker. Kelly Oubre look like his head looked like a fucking couch sofa. Looked like a pillow on a couch. He looked crazy as hell, but he hell of a player. So him and Paolo getting into it. So the Orlando Magic need Paolo to have a vintage Paolo game. That was that was a bogus play. I'm watching the replay where Kelly just did. To me, that's dumb. Because that's dumb. That's dumb. Because that's clearly going to be a flagrant one. If you pick up a flagrant two, well, that should have been a flagrant one. And if you pick up another, let's say you pick up another technical or something like that, and you get thrown out of the game, then what? You think, so Nando think it's Tibbs. I remember Nando saying that before. I remember Nando mentioning Tibbs before. Tibbs would fit the mold. Tibbs would be interesting. Shout out to Coach Corey in the building. What's happening with you, Coach? He said, hopefully we get to see Jake Maddox now in another episode of Locked In Pelicans. Yeah, I'm going to have to collaborate with Jake again soon, man. Good guy, man. I'm glad we was able to squash the beef. All right, so you got Desmond Bane who gets his pocket picked in the open court, coast to coast for VJ Edgecombe for a nice finish. So, look, man, right now, if we basing it on home teams' performances, Charlotte won at home last night. Shout out to Charlotte. Shout out to LaMelo Ball, the whole Ball family, big baller brand. You know how they go. And right now, you got the 76ers at home. 76ers got a ton of playoff experience. Magic got some playoff experience. Adding Desmond Bane has even more playoff experience. To me, tonight is going to be like, depending on how Paul George plays versus Paolo. Paolo can't get 18 points tonight. Paolo got to go out there and get you 27, nearly 30 points tonight. 18 ain't going to do it. French 20 ain't going to do it. Mr. Egg, nah. Nah. It's me and Jake got a better chance at mending fences than Mr. Egg. I say that. Whoa, what's good with you, Josh? So we got my boy Nando. He mentioned it, Tim Thibodeau. How would y'all feel if Thibodeau got the job? Would y'all be cool with Tibbs getting the job? Or would y'all be like, oh my God, another retread? I'm out on this guy. Because to me, Tibbs checks a lot of the boxes. You want to talk about a guy? We got my dog Chris in the building. Look, you want to talk about a guy who's a playoff experience. You see the Knicks missed them this season. Took several teams to the postseason. Just never really got over the hump, but has always been a factor in the postseason. Then you go back and talk about those Chicago Bulls teams that he led, pretty much discovered Jimmy Butler. Tibbs was a monster, dog. Tibbs was a monster. I got my dog in the building. Whoa, and with you.
God damn. What's up, bro?
Boy, like you came with Malawak.
All right.
My shit always been short as well, but what's happening with your homie?
What's up, bro?
Oh man, I'm trying to, look, I don't be no disrespect to Amazon Prime when I say this, because especially if y'all hiring, but just trying to get through this broadcast, man. This is a very frugal experience here watching Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I got the sound off, bro. I'm just watching, so I don't even know who calling the game.
I don't even know either. I got the sound off too. I wanted to ask you, what do you think about Kelly Oubre's hair? Number 9,
bro.
Like the Kelly Oubre hair. It looked like a couch.
Wow. That's pretty bad, bro. That's it's like it's like a comic book character.
Yeah, it's real methy. Real methy. And look, he started off the game chippy. Did you catch his foul? Did you catch his foul? He started the game real chippy. He kind of getting that Paolo a little bit. We're gonna see if the Tyrannosaurus Rex, Desmond Bane, put him in the full Nelson or something. See what's going on, man. It's a hell of a game.
Chef, look, bro. Chef Highway characteristics, bro. They stay with you for a long time, bro. You just don't just get rid of them because you move to, you know what I'm saying?
I didn't know you, bro. I apologize for everything I said, Kelly. I didn't know you was on Chef. Like, damn. Like, it's a bit much. like shit.
Shout out to Kelly, man.
Shout out to Kelly, man. Potential free agent. But you got dudes on that roster like Quentin Grimes. You got Oubre. You got Edgecombe, his first experience. We saw a great game last night with Con Knipple. And they calling kind of artists. They calling kind of artists. Kind of straight up disappeared, man. And but that was a hell of a game. What do you think of last night's game?
Man, the first game, dog. I mean, I tell you, like, on one end, Charlotte is just a bunch of degenerates. And you can see that they like
the new Jailblazers.
It's so immature, bro. It's such an immature way of basketball. But
that's why I love it, though, dog.
Yeah. So no, same thing. That's why I want them in the playoff, because it's fun.
Right.
Yeah, like once you get over the fact that it's like immature and like reckless, it's fun. And they tried so many different ways to throw away the game or whatever. But if you focus straight on the basketball, LaMelo and Khan going 2 for 16 for 3 or something like that. What's up, Lee? And them still winning the game. That's what, if I could get past all the other shit, that's what I focus on and say, okay, whoever they play the next time, or whoever they play, if they ultimately play Detroit in a 7-game series, they're not gonna shoot that every single night.
I ain't gonna lie. I say this to my dog, just Davis. I might have Charlotte in that series. I feel like at any point somebody could pull a gun out. Like Wood Harris, like this is like must see basketball. Somebody could pull a gun out.
This what the league missing, though, bro. This is what you need. Yeah,
like it's just a hint of a cycle. Just a hint of cycle, man. Chris, my bad. I didn't even give you a formal introduction. Shout out to my dog Chris Conn in the building. Chris, tell the people where they can find you. Tell them where they can follow you online as we go into this postseason and off season, brother.
Yeah, man. Look, bro. Check in with me on X at Impatient Bull. I think Instagram is probably Chris Connor 13, man. We still trying to put together off-season plan, even without a draft pick. Over with Boo Crew and Propel Talk, and figure out how we gonna handle the basketball side of things with the Pelicans. But yeah, man. I mean, just
tell them about the music joints you doing on TikTok.
Man, look. I appreciate that, bro. I've been fucking with that on the low, man. So look, like, I just out of boredom, I'm a type to where I hear a bunch of random like misplaced lyrics and in songs, and when I hear them, bro, it always give me the same reaction. I know I'm not the only one, bro. So I find little parts of songs that just don't make sense. It's just odd. Like, why you say that there? Like, why you do that? Like, was that necessary?
Yeah.
And I'm just
shout out to Biggie.
I don't even know the type of baby. Yeah, like that's like Hall of Fame, bro. I ain't made it up there yet.
Like T.I., you might want to write a few posthumous disses because Biggie. Oh my God,
they got some wild shit, bro.
Yeah, Biggie, you need this book. But shout out to Biggie, rest in peace. Yo, man, shout out to the chat. We got also I want to talk about, we talk about people who may say crazy things, myself excluded. Perk, where the money? Kendrick Perkins promised a donation to the city of New Orleans at the I ain't gonna lie, Chris put the press down on him. Chris, friendly neighborhood, extorted him. And now, Perk, we waiting on you, and we waiting on the bread. What's happening? Talk to us, Perk. Talk to us, man.
Like he talking to Bill Simmons about a donation, bro. You gotta be the man of your word first, Perk. Come on, man.
No, don't be one of them brothers, Perk. Don't be one of them brothers. So as you look to the game tonight, Chris, what are you looking for from Jamal Mosley, his in-game adjustments? Again, you have two coaches with a ton of postseason experience, and Jamal Mosley, similar to Charles Lee, kind of hit the ground running as a head coach. I believe they made the postseason his second year. Has a premier number one guy who some people kind of don't think is much of a premier guy anymore, which is crazy to me because he's dude's young. What are you looking for, or do you think like he is who he is at this point?
Right. So the human experience, Chaz, is like, he hears all this stuff that's out here. He sees all these rumors.
Right.
He sees that's all right. He sees all this shit, bro. Like Monty Williams, like, dog, to where remember when Monty was in New Orleans?
Yeah.
And it was like the worst kept secret that he was gonna get fired no matter what happened.
Had to ask his God rest his soul. Had to ask his wife and some of his family to stop attending the game.
Yeah. He like the fact that that happened, and then ultimately he gets fired. They bring in Alvin Gentry. So I look at like Mosley, and I think like knowing all of this going on, you're one win away, either this game or the next game, from being back in the playoffs. I believe for the third straight year.
You dealt with a ton of injuries.
Yeah, ton of injuries, tough stuff, a bunch of stuff that's not your fault. We don't know if it's, we'll find out soon, eventually is the relationship souring about his relationship with Paolo? Is this some front office stuff? But everything else that's going on, what are you doing to help win this game and take care of business? Because you ain't got to look, regardless of what's going on, you got to treat this like we still trying to fight a chance to win, to upset a team, to win a series.
Right.
Like I have to get rid of all of that shit. I can't be thinking about my job future. I got to think about getting this team somewhere. So I want to see Chaz how he uses these rotations, how they close games, who he chooses to lean on, communication with these guys. Good move, Paolo. What's the communication with these guys? And if he does something, and we've seen it enough with New Orleans, if he does something head scratching to where it's like you lost them this game and you did not have to.
Yo, shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Paolo missed them earlier, but that's a nice cut by Pelicans legend
Jamal Cain.
Yes, Jamal Cain. Pelicans legend Jamal Cain. That says a lot about what's happening with the rotations right now. Maybe he's there as a defensive ace because this is a team that's always excelled defensively. There's a lot of similarities to Willie Green, man. I'd be remiss if I didn't, for one, black role player turned head coach. It just seems like that it's an interesting dynamic in the league, right? Not
you was finding way to New Orleans.
That was finding way. Look, the only guy who was like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm a star. It's Jason Kidd. It's like it's very few like stars that become head coaches because they busy being stars. Jamal Mosley, he's not. Oh, Kane.
My goodness.
Oh, don't do that again. No more baseline cuts for you, bro. Yeah. No more baseline cuts for you. He's on cocaine. But so what I wanted to ask with the names that have been attached to New Orleans, even though you had Joe come out the other day and say, "Oh, that's bullshit," right?
Yeah.
It's like. All right, whatever, Joe. Let's say I take you at your word, brother. Whatever. I have no reason to doubt you at this point. But so would you be I won't say upset, but would you be a bit disappointed if Jamal Mosley was a guy and they had telegraphed that move the entire way? Like if they had telegraphed that move and they just like he's fired, fucking let's say he lose this game, they lose the next game. He's fired, let's say next Wednesday or something, and he's hired that Thursday. Would you be upset if that was the actions that happened?
Yeah. I mean, because it's weird, Chaz. Like you in business, I do. I work in a lot of business. I understand that that's just the game. No matter what they come out here and say, I know that there's an actual motive, and I know that there's a business part of it that no matter what, it's going to happen whether we like it or not, right? So if the fact that it's telegraphed, it's annoying a little bit because it kind of like the Joe Dumars, acquisition was telegraphed.
Right.
Now, it's hard for me to turn my nose up to somebody that's been to 3 straight playoffs. Even if he's not the guy to take this team to the next level, I think that he should be viewed as a solid to good coach. And if he gets fired from this situation, and if it's supposed to be Chaz, let's say 10 or 12 openings, and he chooses New Orleans, which he has to do,
I want to ask you
that would be telling. That would be telling.
I was speaking to a partner of mine, and she was like, I just don't see. Oh, my bad too. And to answer 504's question, you got Joe Mazzulla, Ime Udoka, Monty Williams even made it to a finals. You got a lot of brothers that really did their thing at a high level. Yeah. People forget Byron Scott made it to back-to-back finals. He lost both of them bitches, but he made it to back-to-back finals. And I don't really know what the guy with the San Antonio Spurs is. but let's see. He might be quadroon, but let's see what he does this postseason. Yeah. Shout out to Money Bag too. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe button. So, but I want to ask you, do you think it's a situation where sometimes the message just gets stale? Because you got to mention a guy like Tibbs. Saw Mike Brown in that second year, another guy who's in that same tier of coach. Whereas it's like, yeah, it's only so much play hard. It's only so much go out there and go hard on them dudes. It's almost fight. It's almost so much of that message that gets across until you run into a roadblock of like, wait, I can't just keep using the jab, coach. I need some strategy here. They whooping my ass. Do you think it's a point of that sometimes the message just gets stale? And how do you overcome a message that gets stale if you know that it inevitably is going to start falling on deaf ears?
Well, you know, Chaz, I mean, some of the greatest coaches of all time, eventually have to go through this. Like there's a quote that, that says, you got to be lucky to not one day be the fall guy. If you stay in a situation long enough, the odds aren't in your favor, right?
Yeah.
And I think that, I'm gonna be curious to find out what kind of situation is Jamal Mosley in. Is he in a spot to where he can add to his staff, or was he stubborn? Did he choose not to? Was he open to doing things in other ways for another guy? You mentioned some of their similarities to Willie Green, hard-nosed, defensive first minded. Like that seems to be his MO. That's what his teams have kind of been. You see Jamal Cain being in the game. Well, it's a reason for that, because he's a defensive guy. You see these lineups that they're coming out with. I don't know if it's an accident that so many of them have been defensive over the past few years. We've been talking about the same things with this organization, or with this roster's rotation, shooting the basketball. They can't do it. I think that, yes, the message can become stale, but I think more than anything else, and my question would be, has he had full control to be able to go add something or be a part of adding to a staff the way he wants? Or has he been stubborn even when he's had some additional resources to other ideas that will ultimately make this team more creative and better? Is that where the disconnect begins?
It's all, man, the similarities to what happened in New Orleans is kind of like eerily similar. Aside from this, okay, you bring in Contavious Caldwell-Pope as this is your marquee free agent acquisition. He's going to help you with shooting.
Yeah,
can't shoot, right? Yep. Can't shoot at all.
Out of nowhere.
Just out of nowhere, the gun just started working, right? A bunch of weird Alexia Jinka. What's homie name? I forgot the other. What's dude name, bro? It was Alexia Jinka and the other guy with the bad hands.
Ashik,
right? Amir Ashik. And you look at that when you brought back Wendell Carter Jr., Goga. You went signed another guy, Jonathan Isaac, never worked out. It's a ton of just front office decisions that kind of been like, yo, what are we doing here? Because you think about Will Cain, it's like, bro, that's supposed to be Jonathan Isaac. Like, you're talking
why do y'all need 4 centers? Why'd y'all need that?
Like, you got 4 centers just now. I just saw Andre Drummond go to work in the post. Why don't you play Goga Bitadze? Like, it's a lot of bizarre things that are happening with the organization. I think Alvin, shout out to my dog, just said, David, check him out on Pels in the Blend. I think he just had a really interesting question. He says, is there a guy to you who would appear perfect? I think I know 2 people who you might say, I'm going to go with Stackhouse or Sam Cassell.
Yeah, or if you were able to hit a home run with Tibbs.
Yo, it's crazy you mentioned that. Shout out to my dog Nando. He's been coming through with a bit of insider information. He thinks Tibbs may be a front runner potentially for this job. And Tibbs had been hanging around front offices. Yo, journeyman coach motherfucker, like like Tibbs, you're too respected to
be
a
lap dog, bro.
I just want to be around the game, You're just hanging around front offices and shit.
Like Tibbs, you got a resume, bro.
It's like when you get fired and you still show up at the supermarket. You just hanging out at Rouse's all day and shit. Like you don't even work here no more. Yeah. But he's a guy who's been around. I'm sure he's got some respect in the league office from Joe Dumas. Was in Chicago for a number of years, so they had to cross paths with Detroit for quite some time. So what do you you think of those three names potentially? Tibbs,
Yeah.
Sam Cassell. Can't go wrong with a Celtics assistant. And Stackhouse, old Kensington Stackhouse.
So, with Sam, I like Sam because I think he's unapologetically him. And I think that his resume, I know all great players are good players, all-star players don't make great coaches.
Yeah.
But it's not. Sam's been an assistant, bro, for it feels like 20 years, bro. He's been an assistant for almost 20 years.
If I'm not mistaken, it's been since at least 2009, if I'm not mistaken.
Something around there. And he's been around so many different organizations and basketball systems. And now he's with one of the better ones. So he's found a way to still make himself relevant, even though, like I'm Sam Cassell, I'm a Hall of Fame, worthy player. Like I've won championships. I've been, at the head of teams. I've been all-stars. Like I've done all these things. I shouldn't have needed half of this shit, but I have it now.
No, this dude Andre Drummond looks like a Robin tractor trailer right now. But he getting dunks and running up and down the court.
So Sam, Sam, I think needs his time, bro.
I want to ask you about Sam, just to go a little bit further on the Sam talking point before we speak about the other coaches. Sam in particular, we've heard isn't the greatest interviewer, right? Isn't the greatest interviewer. Are you familiar with a comedian named Chris Spencer?
Nah.
Chris Spencer, fantastic comedian. Oh, Chris, you'll know him from White Man Can't Jump. I'm not White Man Can't Jump. Don't Be a Menace. He played the dude Priest, who was like, excuse me, brother, can you? Oh, my milk of magnesia. That guy.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me. I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure I know the face. But go ahead.
So he's a person that he's always been more of a second unit guy, a connection guy. Like he's not the GOAT, but he knows the GOAT. He helps write with the GOAT. He connects a lot of dots.
Oh yeah.
Do you think that's more so been historically Sam's journey in the NBA as far as like if he is a bad interviewer, it's like, yo, we love what you do. We love how you get the guys motivated. We love, some of the strategies you come up with, you being a veteran point guard, a journeyman point guard, tenured point guard, played a lot of different, spent a lot of time in the NBA, man. It's hard to do. So do you think one of the reasons that he just isn't getting that nod is because people might view him as a second chair guy, maybe second row coach, this lead assistant max type guy?
Yeah. And Chaz, the longer you stay out there as an assistant without even an opportunity, the more that starts to hurt you, right? In certain circles, and you're not treated as just someone vying for their first opportunity. You're treated as someone who's better suited for that, whether he is or not. So maybe, but at the end of the day, it's like, we see guys way, less qualified. And I think with Sam, Chaz, if I get the feeling, if I understand everything I've heard and read about Sam and seen in documentaries and heard him talk, Sam's not an ass kisser. And for a lot of these roles, and we know with people that's been in New Orleans, been other places, they kiss a lot of ass to keep this role. And if that's not who you are, then you got to look into an opportunity like Joe Mazzulla did.
Yeah. Talk about luck.
I mean, like,
he wasn't nowhere in the world. He was in the interview. It's like, why you think you should get this job? Why do you think you deserve to have? Like, he just talk about a guy who don't give a fuck. But so, what are some of the names like out of left field that you think could be a prime candidate? Because we're talking about jobs for the Pelicans. Like we mentioned before, shout out to Louisiana gal. She was one of the people who mentioned. I don't personally see a lot of job vacancies. Off the top of my head, I'm saying Milwaukee, Orlando, New Orleans. I hope Thiago Splitter gets that job in Portland. You know what I'm saying? I'm betting on him. And I just don't see a ton of jobs out there. So I feel like there's going to be a bottleneck situation. And so when you look at a team like Orlando, some of these names still apply for them. Which coach do you think will be better suited for Orlando versus, and which would you think would be better suited for New Orleans out of the names that's out there? You got Sam Cassell against Stackhouse, Tibbs. You got maybe Darvin Ham, maybe Rondo. We don't know what's gonna happen with Doc Rivers. So what two coaches you think would be better suited for those organizations?
I think with Orlando, right? They're gonna go established coach.
Okay.
And I don't know if they're gonna be if it's the right guy, but they're gonna go established coach. So like they're gonna shoot for a Budenholzer, or they're gonna shoot for.
Forgot about Mike.
They're gonna shoot for Thibodeau. They're gonna shoot for I don't think that they're gonna shoot for someone that's just a lateral move. You go to Darvin, you go from Mosley to Darvin Ham, it's a lateral move.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna fire Jamal Mosley because he's not the guy, then you gotta go pay big money. You gotta go up. So I thought Mike Malone would have made sense, but you go in that route, or you're going unquestioned assistant that comes out of a really good program, maybe a little bit younger, that everyone's gonna be like, okay, I like that name. I've been hearing him a lot. Let's see what he get. Chris Quinn,
one of my favorites from Miami, and a lot of people starting to question a lot of what question a bit what Spo got going on. Again, you have a guy like Khalil Ware out there who's balling last night, and he's not playing on the final possession where Lonzo goes out there and gets the bucket. And I think Khalil Ware had like a 12, 19, and about 6 blocks. It does look bad. Like
that's that Steve Kerr shit, bro. That's you get stuck in not liking a player that you can't get over it to you can't get out of your own way to just let them be who they are, while still, it's weird, bro. You gotta get out of your way with some of these young talents, bro, and you gotta just put your hand over your eyes and just let them figure this shit out on their own sometimes.
And I think people gonna remember, like, Khalil Ware is really only in his second year, man. And the dude's had a hell of a season. Is that the one you would be interested in before we get to the star questions? Would you be interested if Khalil Ware became available?
Sure. I mean, he's a modern fit.
Would you trade the Milwaukee Bucks pick for Khalil Ware?
Joe, I mean, look. It would fit.
What would you do, Chris?
Well, because you're not trading nobody that you have now,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like you're not. I mean, unless they ain't gonna take Herb in a pick. Well, speaking of that, I saw you post that.
Yeah.
Right. If you told me that they were willing to trade Herb in a pick, or you told me that they would take Dejounte, if they called me and they said, we want Sadiq Bey, it's like I would.
Then I say no, probably.
You would say no?
I would say no to Sadiq Bey and a first, but I would definitely trade her into that.
Well, no, I wouldn't attach a first with certain players.
Well, and that's kind of why I was initially, but the only reason I kind of changed the sentiment is because I'm like, Joe spoke a lot about that 25-year-old age range. And it's funny that he mentioned when the Dejounte name came, he's like, you're not 25, and then I'm like, well, Herb, I'm 28. So I mean, yeah. So it's like, okay, what are you saying here? And also, for me, how I would offset, like, let's say Herb, if you believe Herb is worth like a first, let's just say he's worth one first, hypothetically. To me, his contract almost offsets it. If I'm especially if I'm trading it for a guy on a rookie scale deal, that I'm like, no, this dude gonna start. Like, he's my starting center. Sans something crazy happen. Whereas with Herb, now if my team is healthy, now I got some of the same questions. Like, am I paying you $20 million to come off the bench in the future? And does that make sense?
Yeah, because I mean, dog, like, it's like this. Like, I feel like, and I'm gonna learn a lot about Joe in Troy. Are they gonna listen to the noise, or are they gonna stick to what they believe, right? And they came out swinging and aggressive, right? Everyone talks about Jordan Poole, regardless of the reason, he had a bad year, or you think he had a bad year, he's an expiring deal now.
Yep.
So that's going to be a lot easier to get rid of than it was at the deadline. Dejounte has raised up his value, and if not, I think he'll be an asset to you. But if you decided that you were going to be aggressive, which you did early, as soon as you got in, then I feel like now, man, if you're keeping Zion, if you're making it clear with that, if you're committing to Queen and Fears as running behind the core guys, the core veterans, the Sadiq Bey that you're keeping, the Trey Murphys and company, if that's what you're doing, if you're committing that route, then I think you have to, bro, at that point, find a way to be aggressive and strongly consider dangling and figure out what that Milwaukee Bucks pick is going to be worth. I don't know if Khalil where is it. I'll ask you this. If they said we want Yves Missy and a protected first, you doing it, right?
Yeah. No disrespect to Eve, Eve, my guy, friend of the show, but yeah.
But I'm just
at that point, I got my center of the future because I think Eve's top, and I shout to him, but I think Eve tops out as a rotational big. I don't think he tops out as a bona fide starter, right? Like I think Ware still has a tremendous upside. I think Ware's trajectory is what we all thought Lively's trajectory was going.
Okay,
he's like a
Derek Lively, dog.
and that's another guy who I was like, hey, if you wanted to just buy low on somebody and just have a reclamation project, you got to take chances like that if you're the Pelicans. The reason I would do it also because we don't know what the new the new lottery format is going to be. Giannis play all type of games. Not that it really matters, but Giannis plays all type of games. And I'm counting on the Miami Heat to be especially aggressive in pursuit of Giannis. And if they are, the Pelicans could play a factor. And I think you could potentially get Ware in a future first from one of those guys if you add Herb into that, because now you're looking to supplement Giannis with and Bam with talent. You're looking to get those guys.
You gotta, Chaz, they gotta use that pick as not just bait, bro. It gotta be collateral.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I think that's the luxury that people aren't really considering. It's not just the swap in itself. It's the fact that Milwaukee has to trade Giannis soon, but they don't control their future in the way that they would like. So what do?
Right.
You know what I mean? And they can't be in a situation where they decide to, we're going to take back a bunch of veterans just so we can be just not completely, not bottom out. No,
right.
I think that they gotta find a way to use Troy and Joe, and Troy and Joe have to use that in their mind to say, well, here's where we at right now. We can turn this into a couple assets that in a traditional market we wouldn't be able to get.
I think it's a classic quid pro quo situation, similar to what you saw with the Suns and what Houston was able to do this offseason. To where it's like, even if you was looking at Milwaukee, like, all right, look, just give us a couple of your future first, and you can have your lottery first back. Like, because to me, if Miami said, I'll give you a 2030 first for that first right now, I'm like, I'm doing it because Giannis is already 31 years old. The injuries starting to pile up. I'm not really a Bam believer. I'm not a believer in that team necessarily moving forward. Yeah. They could do some other things. Like, of course, you got Norman Powell. You got, I don't know what's going to happen with Tyler Hero and his money, but they got limited avenues to build out that team in this situation. So, just in short, you team Ja Morant, you good with bringing Ja Morant in?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. It's kind of crazy to me, dog. I don't know.
People forgot about Ja, though.
And it might be, Trae Young maybe set the market with, but I mean, even that got Atlanta back a couple pieces that has helped them in their run out of the play-in. But it's kind of crazy to me that people that Ja's being viewed as this bad of an asset to where you have to attach draft capital to possibly get rid of him. That kind of surprises me.
Have you
someone that's be going to second team?
Have you followed what happened with him with to me that's why it's a classic Allen Iverson situation. Did you see what happened with him with the jersey situation?
Yeah.
There's no exit interview. And this is, this is Ja Morant. For all, we ain't really seen this with Zion. And Zion at the end of the season every year giving the same story. But at least he's there saying it. With Ja, they're like, stay home, stay away from the team. The GM who classically, traditionally sticks up for Ja and advocates for Ja, he like, man, we got to do what's best for us. I think he's gone. It's just a matter of, can you get the deal across the finish line?
I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. If you're telling me similar to Trae, that there's not a bunch of suitors, right? If you want to go get Ja, at the end of the day, they can go get Ja. If they want to go get him, they can get him. And again, this would be like, to me, if you are Joe Dumars and you will try. I'm a big believer in you got to finish the shit that you start. Ain't no reason to pivot now.
Yeah,
now
you got to go all in.
Yeah, you got to. And like, if it means if you're gonna make comments about what Queen and Zion can be, then you got to make different. You have to be willing to add comments. Well, I mean, I'm sorry, you have to be able to add talents like John and say we'll figure it out. And I mean, look, man. I mean, Joe's the type of guy that I think, and it could be to his detriment sometimes, but I think he's the kind of guy that believes he can get through to any type of player, any type of background.
That's something that kind of came across to me during his post-game presser. Like, I almost felt like some of the questions, I think he almost was a bit dismissive. Like,
yeah,
Joe Dumo.
People don't really.
Yeah, I'm like,
okay. We didn't think Dejounte would make it past the trade deadline. We thought, there was a lot of people that thought that, bro.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna hold you. Look, Dejounte say what you want, because no, I don't even want to talk about Dejounte. Yeah, I don't want to talk Dejounte. Shout to him. Shout to say what you want. But Dejounte's an interesting guy. But we're trying to get you out of here, brother. We're gonna get to a couple of the star questions, man. Appreciate you coming on again. Please tell the people where they can find you, brother.
Oh man, impatient bull on X, Chris Connor 13, I believe on IG. Yeah, man. Probably.
Oh, give him the TikTok, bro. Give him the TikTok.
Damn, dog.
I don't even be knowing my shit.
I don't even be. Hold on, y'all. It made me feel old, bro. I don't even be on TikTok like that, but now I'm on. Hold on.
That's why I just got the same name for almost everything.
Impatient bull on TikTok. See, man.
Keep it simple, right?
There you go.
Shout out to my dog Michael Morgan, man. Shout out to everybody in the building. Do me a favor, please hit that. Oh my God, my dog stall Dejounte out. My dog can't stand Dejounte for some reason. I don't know what it is. My dog can't stand Dejounte. But
stall talking spicy, dog.
Oh yeah, Dejounte talk cash money shit. Look, it's cool when you win it, but when you're not winning,
exactly. My dog said, "I'm not missing the playoffs ever again. I promise."
Then he put the Pelicans jersey. I don't know if he meant it, and I don't know if he meant it from the standpoint of I'm throwing this jersey away.
I'm leaving.
Yeah, I'm out of here. Like, got to do something. Something got to change. The Giants, they give it up. But shout out to my dog, and make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe, man. Hype the video after we finish. We about to close out. Just David said, "Is there a guy that would appear to be perfect?" I think we spoke about that from the coaching standpoint. Chris, I'm putting you on the spot. Who coaching the Pelicans next season? Head coach.
Man. I think it's going to fuck around and be James Borrego, bro.
Man, you know what?
I really do.
I really could see a scenario to where they strike out with everybody.
I think it's going to be another year. I think they're going to try. But I really think they're going to be looking around. It's going to be 2 a.m. in the bar. And like, oh, might as well. I guess I'll leave with the one I came with.
I'm gonna say Sam Cassell. I'm gonna say Sam Cassell or Mosley.
Let me tell you, it would say a lot to me if someone, and I would be happy. It would say a lot to me if someone with a more established resume,
with Tibbs as a distant third.
Again, you tell me that they were able to get any of those three, and they got them quickly. That would be really telling about, I guess, the views of how this situation is, and maybe it's a little bit better than some of us think from night to night.
Yeah, and hopefully, I didn't like his answer with the coaching search either. I mean, I guess optics. You're like, yeah, we're gonna cast a wide net. We're not gonna just make a rash decision, because I heard some things behind the scenes from a while ago to where they were thinking and where their mind was in selecting the coach. And hey, I don't know if that's the way you want to go, especially if that gets out publicly. But exactly. Shout out to Davis again. Said, do y'all believe if Tibbs is hired at whatever cost, the front office will be willing to invest more funds in quality assistants?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna pay head coach big money, you're gonna need to pay the assistants that come in. Like you can't be cheap. You're gonna finally open up the book there. It's like when they brought in David Griffin and Gail was saying, or it was going around, and she told him that he had free reigns to bring in however many pieces he thought that would ultimately end up working. So, I mean, it started there and then it trickled down to some of the other front office figures. They spent big money on Trajan. They spent big money on Swin when she, like, for her role. And it kind of went down there. They've never done this with head coaches. So if you go out and you get a big name that's going to cost some money, then I would hope that means that for a whole new assistants group, you're going to cut the check for them too.
Yeah, I would hope so. I certainly would hope so. I hope they're doing a lot of scouring of the G League. They only made one official coaching hire this past offseason, one unofficial coaching hire with DeAndre.
Like Chad, what it sound like getting Tom Thibodeau to New Orleans, but telling them he got to keep
Casey Hill.
Like you got to keep Casey Hill. Tell you get the fuck out of here.
If Casey Hill survives 3 head coaches, no, this will be his 4th. If he survives 4 coaches, he got somebody pitches. That's all I'm gonna say. He got somebody pitches. He got somebody paperwork. Say that. Josh Murray got to build. He said, if Joe hires Tibbs and makes the right free agent moves in the offseason for the Pelicans, can they somewhat make some noise?
Surely. I think Tibbs alone with a couple, just a couple of the right moves, skill sets makes a difference. Because Tibbs comes in with a reputation and a system that he's carried from place to place, that's one.
Clear cut identity. Whether you like the identity or not, clear cut. Coach Carter, we're gonna run, we're gonna play, we're gonna play. This is what it is. I want to ask you this because to that question, again, the Pelicans had, if I'm not mistaken, 21 4-quarter blown leads.
Yep.
So to me, you were in more games than you could. If you won half of those games, you probably in the playing right now. And to me, I think even as limited as the roster was, I do still believe that was a playing roster given their health. This is even before Dejounte came back because he wasn't really there for a lot of those lost leads. Right. To me, I don't think they have a ton of ground to cover in the West. I think personally, especially once Memphis moves, I think a lot of the shit is going to the East moving forward. I think the East is about to become a monster at some point. Yeah. This is Nando. This is probably the spitball in here. Say, what can you get for Poole, Herb, and picks?
I mean, you got to look at it. If you got picks, you got not just salary but expiring salary. That looks like a veteran, a team that's trying to put some finishing touches on their role players or like really contend with something. That looks like a winning team type of move. So, I mean, I think you're able to clear your books in a way, for sure. But if you add in picks, then you would want a player back. So.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think we're in a weird transition in the NBA to where like there aren't a ton of superstars left.
Nope.
Now it's just like stars and budding stars, right? And like maybe a couple, maybe 2 or 3 to 4 superstars to where like for Poole, Herb, and multiple firsts, I probably wouldn't even want Anthony Davis. I'm not giving you multiple firsts for Anthony Davis. Like, that's just how like the things are changing. But with that particular package, if you wanted to have 1 first, I think you could get DeMontis Sabonis rather easily. With the
because if you're gonna trade something like that, Chaz, you want something. You want to be in a position where you feel like this guy is gonna get us out of a playoff series.
Right.
We are building something that's gonna get us to be a contender, like somewhere in that range, not to still be in like. Low. Still, in the middle of nowhere.
Maxi Cole. The dude Cole. He ain't no Kyra Lewis, but he's Cole. So on that note, man, we're gonna get out of here. A shout out to everybody in the building. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hype the video up after we post. I wish they allowed you to hype the video while it's live. Right? Yeah, so YouTube got to figure that out. I'm Cheddar Chaz, my dog Chris Conner. Be sure to tap in with him at a patient board, tapping with him on Propels Talk. And we'll probably be rapping more this offseason, man. You might be watching our new head coach tonight with Jamal Mosley. So we'll see. But that's the show. I'm out. Peace.